Street fights are more common than you might initially think. You don't know what situations might arise when you're out and about in public, and this is exactly why learning self-defense is a necessity nowadays. In today's video, we'll be talking about just that. How you can defend yourself against common street fighting attacks. Understanding your attacker. Before we talk about how to defend yourself, it's important to understand who you're defending yourself against. This is one of the key things one should take note of before anything else. A lot of people tend to miss or forget this bit, but taking a moment to step back to assess everything gives you an extra edge. In most cases of random street fights, your attacker will be someone who is trying to intimidate or overpower you, rather than someone who is trained in a specific fighting style. Since they don't have specific training, you can use this to your advantage. You need to be aware of some common tactics that they might use. One of the most common moves you'd expect in a street fight is the sucker punch. In fact, it's usually the first punch of the fight. This is when your attacker tries to catch you off guard by throwing a punch when you're not expecting it. So, it's basically any punch directed at you when you're not looking or when you have no idea what's coming. This is why being aware of your surroundings is crucial, so you can prevent yourself from taking an unexpected hit. Try to avoid walking alone in areas where you don't feel safe, and always be prepared for the possibility of an attack. If you do see someone approaching you, try to maintain a safe distance and be prepared to defend yourself if necessary. If you're already in a confrontation and it's starting to get tense, always be on the lookout for your opponent's body and hand movements, as well as anyone else who is with them. Another common tactic to start a street fight is to try to grab you from behind, which makes it difficult for you to defend yourself. If your attacker tries to do this, one technique you can use is to drop your weight and lean forward, using your hips to break their grip. This will easily catch them off guard because they're not expecting you to fight back proactively. Another good counter is to strike their groin or knee with your elbow, which can be very effective in breaking their hold. Now, your attacker might try to scare you by getting in your face and trying to intimidate you with their size or strength. During these times, it's essential to remain calm and composed. You'll want to be very aware of your attacker's movements so you can respond accordingly to any sudden strikes against you. Try to maintain a safe distance and, if necessary, use verbal commands to de-escalate the situation. Remember, the goal is to avoid a physical altercation whenever possible. When all else fails, this is when you can move on to counterattacks to defend yourself. Basic self-defense techniques. Now that you understand some of the tactics that your attacker might use, let's talk about some basic self-defense techniques that you can use to defend yourself. Learning these moves can go a long way in ensuring your safety. The first technique is the basic stance. This involves standing with your feet shoulder-width apart, your knees slightly bent, and your hands up in front of your face. You might be wondering why this one is a good idea when it only involves standing. Well, this stance actually makes it easier for you to move quickly and defend yourself. So, it's a basic step you must keep in mind as you move forward. The second technique is the jab. This is a quick, straight punch that you throw with your lead hand. It's the easiest type of punch to learn because of its simplicity. While it may be simple, it's actually the most important one of all the punches. A good, powerful jab is a classic way to knock your opponent out, or you can follow this up with a few more strikes. With this, you can keep the attacker at bay and create distance between the two of you. The third technique is the cross. This punch goes hand in hand with the jab, as both punches are simple strikes. The difference is on which hand the punch is done. The cross is a powerful punch that you throw with your rear hand. As mentioned earlier, the jab is done with the lead hand. In a fight, you'll want to throw in a quick cross punch after every jab. This combination makes for a quick yet effective blow to the opponent. The fourth technique is the uppercut, which is another classic you frequently see in professional fights and street fights. This is a punch that you throw upwards, aiming for your attacker's chin. It's great for close-range fighting and can be very effective if delivered properly. It's also one way to pull away from your opponent during intense and close moments in a fight. If powerful enough, this one punch may also launch the other fighter straight to the ground, or at the very least, make him lose his balance. Finally, we have the roundhouse kick. This is a kick that you throw with your lead leg, aiming for your attacker's head or torso. It's a powerful kick that can do a lot of damage, but it's also a bit riskier than the other techniques, as it leaves you vulnerable if you miss it or if your attacker grabs your leg. Just make sure to always be prepared and only do the roundhouse kick if your balance and momentum are in great form. Now, these techniques are just the basics, and there are many more advanced techniques and strategies that you can learn with more training and practice. However, for someone who is just starting out, these techniques can be very effective in defending yourself against common street fighting attacks. Putting it all together, now that you understand some of the tactics your attacker might use and some basic self-defense techniques, let's put it all together and talk about how to defend yourself in a real-life situation. The first thing to remember is to always try to avoid a physical altercation as much as possible. If you can, try to walk away or ease the situation through words. However, if you find yourself in a situation where you have no choice but to defend yourself, remember to stay calm and focused. Assuming you're in your basic stance, if your attacker throws a punch, you can use your jab to throw the attacker away and create distance. If they try to grab you from behind, you can drop your weight and use your hips to break their grip. You can also hit them in the groin or knee. Once you have that distance against the opponent, you can use your cross or uppercut to deliver a powerful blow. If they're still coming at you, this is a great opportunity to use the roundhouse kick to try to knock them down or create more distance. Again, the main goal is not to try to beat your attacker in a fight, but rather to defend yourself and escape safely. Once you have the opportunity, try to run away and get help if necessary. So that's all for today's episode, folks. If you enjoyed watching, leave a like and share it with your friends. You can also comment and let us know what you'd like to see from this channel in the future. Also, subscribe to FightFlix if you haven't already. You'll want to check out our other videos. Stay tuned for more awesomeness. Thanks for watching.